I really think a champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall. Serena Williams. There's a dangerous illusion we cling to, especially after we've been through the crucible of trauma, or experienced the crushing weight of loss, or found ourselves adrift after major life setbacks. It's the belief that greatness is a pristine, unbroken journey of effortless victories. We look at figures of immense success and mistakenly assume their paths were paved with gold, devoid of pain, shielded from defeat. This myth of the flawless champion is a subtle, insidious poison because it convinces us that our own stumbles, our own falls, our own brokenness disqualify us from ever achieving anything meaningful. We become ashamed of our wounds, hiding our failures as if they are proof of our inadequacy. But what if the profound, liberating truth, as Serena Williams so powerfully articulated, is the exact opposite? What if true greatness isn't found in never falling, but in the fierce, unyielding, and courageous act of getting back up? What if the real measure of a champion, and by extension, the real measure of your own power, is not your flawless record, but the story of how you recovered from your deepest, most painful falls? This isn't just a philosophy for athletes, it's a profound, soul-awakening truth for anyone who has ever felt too broken to continue. It's the understanding that your scars are not signs of weakness. They are the badges of a warrior who has gone through hell and emerged not unscathed, but with an unshakable resilience. This demands a radical shift in mindset, moving from a fear of failure to a fierce celebration of recovery, knowing that your greatest triumphs are often built on the very ground where you fell. For too long, we've allowed our past defeats, our painful setbacks, and our personal failures to define us. We rehearse the story of our wounds, not just to others, but to ourselves, believing that this narrative of victimhood is an unassailable truth. But this is a form of self-imprisonment, a comfortable cage that prevents us from cultivating an unshakable belief in our own capacity for healing and triumph. We've been conditioned to believe that a single loss is a permanent state, a final verdict on our potential. But the life of Serena Williams is a living, breathing testament to the fact that this is a lie. Her journey wasn't a clean sweep of victories. She faced devastating injuries, personal health crises, and shocking defeats on the biggest stages. She lost matches she was expected to win. A lesser person might have retired or at the very least retreated into a comfortable narrative of what if. But for Serena, every fall was not an end, but an opportunity. She didn't dwell on the pain of the loss. She immediately began the work of recovery. Her discipline wasn't in winning. It was in the agonizing, unseen process of rehabbing her body, of refining her game, of sharpening her mental fortitude after every defeat. She proved that the very act of recovery is a profound act of creation, building a stronger, more resilient self with every comeback. Her unshakable purpose to be the greatest was not a matter of winning every match, but of refusing to let any single loss be the final word. She understood that a champion is not defined by the moment they fall, but by the relentless, courageous choice they make to rise again and again, proving that the real strength of a champion is found not in their wins, but in the unyielding force of their recovery. The pervasive noise of external validation, the constant pressure to maintain a perfect public image, and the subtle shame associated with failure often blur our clarity, obscuring our true vision and disconnecting us from our deepest purpose. When we are paralyzed by the fear of falling, the path forward becomes hazy, riddled with insurmountable obstacles that exist more in our minds than in reality. We become experts at identifying every reason why we can't, instead of relentlessly searching for how we can recover. To truly embrace Serena's philosophy, you must cut through this mental fog, cultivate a brutal honesty about your current situation, and illuminate a path forward with unyielding focus. Your new vision isn't a vague aspiration. It's a vivid, burning image of yourself, not as someone who never falls, but as someone who masters the art of recovery. Think of the immense pressure Serena faced throughout her career, particularly as she chased her 24th Grand Slam title to tie the all-time record. She came agonizingly close, reaching multiple finals only to fall short. The media and the public relentlessly focused on these losses, framing them as failures. But for Serena, her mindset was one of pure, unadulterated recovery. Her purpose to equal the record was a powerful catalyst, but her true vision was in the journey itself, in the relentless discipline of getting back on the court, of training harder, of refining her game, and of confronting the immense psychological pressure. Her actions in those moments were a masterclass in resilience, a defiant refusal to let the narrative of a loss become the story of her career. She showed us that a champion isn't defined by the number on the trophy, but by the fire that ignites after a defeat. She proved that true greatness is not about avoiding a fall, but about the strength, the grace, and the unwavering conviction to stand up, dust yourself off, and continue the fight. This kind of intense focus, this unwavering dedication is the antidote to the paralysis of failure. It channels all your emotional energy, all your mental resources away from dwelling on what went wrong and towards relentlessly building what's right. When you become actively engaged in the process of recovery, of rebuilding, of striving, there's simply no mental space left for the corrosive indulgence of self-pity or the fear of failure. Every setback becomes a puzzle to solve. Every loss, a piece of vital learning, pushing you closer to your ultimate aim. The very act of focusing outward on a purpose greater than your immediate pain is a profound liberation, demonstrating that your internal power is not extinguished by trauma, but rather refined and amplified by it. The modern world often encourages a superficial form of emotional expression, where vulnerability can sometimes morph into an endless performance of personal suffering, while acknowledging pain is crucial for healing. Dwelling there indefinitely, allowing it to become a permanent state, prevents us from building true resilience. Resilience isn't about ignoring your wounds. It's about acknowledging them, learning from them, and then with fierce determination, transforming them into fuel for your ascent. The fear of falling is a heavy anchor, dragging you down, preventing you from adapting to new realities and seizing new opportunities. But to truly embody Serena's philosophy is to cut that anchor, to embrace the raw, unfiltered truth of your situation, and to channel your emotional energy into active problem solving and proactive growth. This is where genuine adaptability is born, forged in the fires of discomfort and uncertainty. Think of the immense strength required by Serena to come back from a life-threatening pulmonary embolism after the birth of her daughter. It was a fall of a different kind, a physical crisis that threatened not just her career, but her very life. The conventional wisdom might have been for her to retire, to focus on her health and her family, to accept that her body could no longer handle the demands of elite tennis. But her mindset was one of unyielding recovery. Her unwavering purpose was to not only survive, but to return to the sport she loved. This profound commitment to her own health and her own dreams fostered an unparalleled resilience. She faced a grueling, painful recovery, and then the monumental challenge of returning to peak physical form. Her journey was fraught with setbacks and disappointments, but she never surrendered to the narrative of an ending. Her story is a living testament to the truth that a fall can be physical, emotional, or professional, but the core of the recovery is always the same, a fierce, primal decision to get back up. And in that crucible of relentless courage, a profound sense of gratitude emerged. Not gratitude for the crisis itself, but gratitude for the raw, untamed strength discovered within, for the new life she was given, for the opportunity to continue her journey. This gratitude, hard-won and deeply felt, became an unshakable source of strength, rooting her in the present and fueling her determination. It's the realization that even in the darkest moments, there is something to be thankful for, some small ember of hope to nurture. This recover when you fall philosophy fundamentally shifts your relationship with difficulty. You stop seeing obstacles as reasons to stop and start seeing them as opportunities to discover untapped strength as crucial steps in the journey of transformation. Your willingness to lean into the discomfort, to push past the fear of falling, is what ultimately differentiates those who simply survive from those who truly thrive, who emerge from the ashes stronger, wiser, and more powerfully aligned with their purpose. The insidious cycle of fearing failure often creates a narrative of stagnation, preventing us from embracing continuous learning and personal evolution. When we believe that our falls are permanent, we stop looking for solutions, stop seeking new knowledge, and stop engaging with the world in a way that fosters growth. This limits our adaptability and keeps us trapped in a static, unchanging existence defined by past wounds. But to truly embrace Serena's philosophy is to liberate your mind for relentless learning, to embrace every experience, even the most painful, as a profound lesson. It's about cultivating an insatiable curiosity for solutions, for personal growth, for new pathways forward. Think of the profound learning Serena undertook throughout her career, particularly as the game and her opponents evolved. She wasn't just a powerful hitter, she was a brilliant strategist, constantly adapting her game, learning new techniques, and refining her mental approach. After a defeat, she didn't just brood, she and her team would meticulously analyze the match, dissecting what went wrong, identifying weaknesses, and developing new strategies. Her unwavering belief in her ultimate vision propelled her forward. Her recover when you fall approach manifested as relentless learning from every mistake, every misstep. She demonstrated that the deepest wisdom is often found not in comfort, but in the crucible of adversity. This profound commitment to learning and adaptability, born from a fierce refusal to surrender to the finality of a fall, is what unlocks true innovation and lasting success. When you are truly committed to moving forward, when your focus is on what you can learn rather than what you lost, your mind becomes a powerful engine of possibility. You start to see solutions where others see only problems, opportunities where others see only defeat. The energy previously consumed by the fear of falling is now channeled into proactive action, into building, creating, and evolving. This isn't about being emotionally detached, it's about being strategically engaged. Using your emotions as a compass, not a cage. It's about accepting that falling is a natural part of the human experience, but that it is never a strategy for building the life you deserve. It's about understanding that the path to a truly fulfilling existence is paved not with easy victories, but with hard-won resilience, born from the relentless decision to choose courage over comfort and forward motion over stagnation. So if you've been living in the shadow of your past, if the fear of falling has become a familiar yet suffocating blanket, hear this truth, etched into the very fabric of Serena Williams' unparalleled legacy. Your falls do not define you. Your recovery does. Your pain is real. Your struggles are valid, but your potential is infinite. The story of your past is simply that, a story. Your future is unwritten, waiting for you to wield the pen. Embrace the fierce mindset that declares, my falls are not failures, they are the genesis of my greatest triumphs. Cultivate an unshakable belief in your inherent capacity to heal, to rebuild, to rise, knowing that your internal power is boundless. Seek clarity not in dwelling on what was, but in envisioning what can be, and then ruthlessly pursuing it. Let your profound vision and deepest purpose be the blazing stars that guide you, consuming any shadows of self-doubt. Embrace discipline as your greatest ally, the consistent, unapologetic choice to show up for yourself, to do the uncomfortable work, to take the necessary action day after relentless day. Cultivate gratitude for the raw strength you discover within yourself, for the wisdom gained through hardship, for the scars that tell your story of survival and triumph, and for the sheer privilege of being able to choose every single moment to move forward. Build adaptability by training your mind to embrace change, to pivot with purpose, and to innovate under pressure, making flexibility your superpower. And commit to lifelong learning, recognizing that every obstacle, every moment of discomfort is a classroom designed to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable. Constantly expanding your boundaries and pushing the limits of what you thought possible. The world doesn't need a flawless hero. It needs a real one. It needs you. It needs the extraordinary person you're capable of becoming, forged in the crucible of your falls. Your greatest triumphs, your deepest healing, your most profound fulfillment await you on the other side of that courageous decision to recover. It's time to stop fearing the fall and start mastering the comeback. The journey begins now.